Yeah, welcome everybody here to Steve's Wrestling Ramble. Welcome here to the Sports Talk Network. Steve's Wrestling Ramble here tonight, talking WWE, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, the road to Money in the Bank 2018 edition, some news and notes and other things to discuss. But here at the top of the show, I did kind of tease on Twitter about this, but I did want to kind of have a PSA announcement or thing to talk about that is close to me this month here in May. Excuse me, is Mental Health Awareness Month. I myself struggling with anxiety on a daily basis and otherwise going to therapy and doing those things and trying to get better myself and techniques of kind of controlling my anxiety, defeating the panic attacks and otherwise, and all of those that have depression, anxiety, and other situations that have to do with mental health. I'm here for you as well, and I hope that whatever you're doing to get better, to improve in that aspect, hopefully that is working for you. Also, showing out to my grandfather. It is my grandfather's 99th birthday. So he turns 99 today. Next year, week 100. Now, get to 100 years old. Next year on this same date, 5/17. But here, let's talk about WWE, talk about Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, and otherwise, let's welcome our guest. Narcolepsy Boy, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. What's going on? You know my name. You can just call me Malik. You don't have to call me Narcolepsy Boy.
All right, Malik, how you doing?
Good.
But yeah, Raw, SmackDown, both O2 Arena in England. They're in London. Tape shows. So for me, I already knew what was happening, what was going down, and I do read the spoilers, but I still do watch the shows and see how it all plays out. Right, things from what you read to what you actually see on television, difference. Though you may know how it's going to end and who's going to win from what the spoiler says, but actually watching it happen, I think, at least for me personally, you have that different feeling and how everything goes down there. But did you, Malik? Did you read any of the spoilers before Raw or SmackDown, or did you try to go in as blind as you could?
No, I didn't read anything. I didn't even know there were spoilers. To be honest, I didn't know that. I'm glad I didn't know. I just watched it. I just watched it when it came on television.
Right, and that's fine too. But I know, like when they have these shows in England, they are 5 hours ahead, so they were.
Yeah, they're 5 hours. Yeah, I know. So they tape them ahead of time.
Yeah. So they're taped, and they're going to be spoilers. But I'm just one that I do seek them out, and I do actually um, search them out and read them and that. But I am not one to try to search out people to try to share them. I'm not that type of person. If people don't want to be spoiled, they don't want to be spoiled. But I myself will go to read those. Excuse me, read those things, but still enjoy the shows for what they are. And Raw and SmackDown for what they were, I thought were pretty good. I, you
Yeah,
have the
I thought Raw. I thought Raw was pretty good. SmackDown was okay, but I thought Raw was pretty good.
right. You have your qualifying match continuing on the road to Money in the Bank. So good shows because of that, I guess. I know I'm already pumped and ready for Money in the Bank in itself. But let's starting with Monday Night Raw. What were your good, bad, ugly? Your thoughts on the Raw show?
Um, I don't know if I really have any bad thoughts. I really enjoyed the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins match. That was a really good match. Seth Rollins, he's been tearing it down since he won the title. He's at that level where I wanted him, where he's been trying to get since he came back from the injury back in 2016. I think he's now back to that level because he was kind of really in a slump. Really, to me, to me, that's just my opinion. I can't speak for anybody else, but he was really kind of in a slump, and now I feel like he's back. He's back to that level. He's back to that edge. I feel like he's really finding himself, and he's definitely one of the best talents that WWE has right now, man. He's incredibly good. I'm very interested to see who he defend. I mean, who I don't know who. I'm interested to see who they have him defend the belt against at Money in the Bank. I kind of feel like it may be Sami Zayn. I kind of feel like that would be a really good match. Maybe Bobby Lashley. Because they haven't done that one either. But I don't know if I don't really. I don't know if I really like that Kevin Owens in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't dislike Kevin Owens, but I felt like they could have gave that to. I feel like they could put Elias in there instead of him. Like I feel like Elias would have been a better fit in that match instead of Kevin Owens. But I understand why they put him in there. Because I mean he's definitely with him being in there. I mean, to me, in my opinion, he's definitely a favorite to win. I dare him and Rusev would probably be the two favorites that I see. Could either one of them winning. Um, But I thought Raw was pretty good overall. I like the beginning with the whole Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal backstage thing, the backstage brawl, and then when he speared him through the wall later on in the show. I thought that was pretty cool. I think their rivalry is going to be pretty. I think it's going to be better than people expect. And obviously, people hate on Roman Reigns, want to dislike Roman Reigns just because of the situation that he gets booked, and people just hate Jinder Mahal because he's one of those anti-American heels, and people just don't like the way he wrestles and the way he talks and stuff like that. But I think their feud is actually going to be pretty good. I'm really gonna enjoy their feud. I want to see how long. I'm gonna say probably it'll last up maybe till SummerSlam. Maybe it'll get cut before SummerSlam, but we'll see how long it lasts. But Raw was pretty good, and the SmackDown was the only thing I don't understand why they keep. I mean, because I don't know how many times we're gonna see Nakamura and Styles fight. You know what I mean? Like I love when they fight each other, but it's like WrestleMania. They hyped it up pretty much all year for WrestleMania. Like pretty much everybody all last year was talking about that one match they wanted to see, and they made it happen. And the match was terrible because of the way they got booked on the show. Because WrestleMania is 7 hours, and it's hard for people to be invested into a 7-hour show. And that match got ruined. And the match they had in Saudi Arabia was actually pretty good. It was actually better than the one at WrestleMania. The one they had at Backlash was pretty good too. And the one they had at SmackDown was the best one they had so far. But the one in Saudi Arabia and Backlash, they had those false finishes. But now with Nakamura beating AJ on SmackDown, now it's making me think that they're not going to put the belt on him at Money in the Bank because he just beat him. So I don't know. I really like AJ Styles. I mean, he's probably the best wrestler on the planet. He's definitely top 3. If he's not the best, he's definitely in the top 3. But I feel like Nakamura needs the belt. He can't keep losing to AJ, or they can't keep having these types of finishes in this match for him. You know what I mean? They got to give him. They turned him heel. He was one of their biggest baby faces, and then they turned him heel. And now he's actually a pretty good heel. So now they're going with the heel stuff with him. But you got to give him a championship run. You got to at least see. You got to at least test the waters with him. You know what I'm saying? You got to see how he does. You know what I mean? You got to take a chance with him. I think Nakamura will make a great champion. I think he'll make a great heel champion. And I just don't like how they keep. I mean, in the past, this is May. In the past month, really, they fought 4 times already. In the past, they fought 2 times in April, and they fought twice in May so far, and they're going to fight in June. So there'll be 5 times really within 2 months. That's way too many. That's too many. They're kind of ruining it to me. Like they have great matches, but having them fight so much necessarily to me isn't a good thing. But I thought SmackDown was pretty good. Raw was better than SmackDown, but I thought both shows were pretty okay.
Okay, yeah. Going here to the chat, if I get this up. Why Society Wrestling? Thanks for leaving a couple of comments. I see here first saying, "How's it going, Steve and Malik?" He says he likes SmackDown more than Raw this week. That's cool. He said he's also looking forward to TakeOver Chicago more than Money in the Bank. Usually, most fans are. Do you think that way when having those shows, whether it's?
The takeovers are usually better than the pay-per-views. So
usually, I wouldn't say all the time, but yes, usually. But he also is saying here, Elias versus Rollins at MITB at Money in the Bank. I'm assuming he's giving his opinion on who should face Rollins next for the Intercontinental Championship. His vote is going for Elias. He's saying The Miz should win the Money in the Bank ladder match, the men's.
I would like that.
So, and he said Jinder got cheered more than Roman. So thanks for the comments. Why Society Wrestling, and thanks for being here for however long you are. But yeah, I thought Raw was pretty good. If I had to pick one over the other, I probably would pick SmackDown over Monday Night Raw. Again, I usually pick SmackDown over Raw because of the format of the show, meaning Raw being 3 hours, SmackDown being 2 hours, and how SmackDown usually uses their 2-hour format, having more matches, less promos, because they only have a shorter amount of time, right? They have a 1 hour less. So using that to their advantage, to think, at least to me, because pumps out a better product than Monday Night Raw with the 3 hours with some, I would say, crappy, really unneeded segments to be part of Monday Night Raw. But for this past Raw there in London, you have the 2 qualifying matches for the men. You have Bobby Roode qualifying. You have Kevin Owens qualifying on the women's, you have Goddess Alexa Bliss qualifying there for the Raw brand for the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. And the qualifying matches over on SmackDown Live. You had this SmackDown Live debut finally of Andrade Cien Almas. Him coming to SmackDown Live, so that was pretty cool to me to see. So with all that put together, I would say that SmackDown Live did better than Monday Night Raw this week. Though I will say the B team, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, I'm kind of intrigued by them and see how they do. Maybe, just maybe, they might have at least a chance, an opportunity. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but an opportunity for the Raw Tag Team Championships probably before WrestleMania. So that's how I see for them being booked. Off the heels of their great run as lackeys for the Miz, the Miz Taraj, and now going on their own, still as a tag team, being renamed here the B team and everything. I think at least the sky's the limit for them. So I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how that is moving forward. I mean, heck, your tag team champions, you got Hardy and Wyatt. It wouldn't be a bad thing to have this team take it off them. Though I also am in favor if WWE does have a tag team men's tag team Money in the Bank ladder match. I wouldn't be against that either. And if they did, I would want McIntyre and Ziggler to win that. So that's just, I don't know if that match will actually ever happen. Doesn't seem like it will. Because if it was, I'm sure it would have been announced by now. If not, this upcoming Raw or SmackDown. But for now, we have the men's and women's. We're going to have, what kind of stipulation is Shinsuke Nakamura going to put with the WWE Championship match? Because he won in the main event on the SmackDown Live against AJ Styles in a non-title match for that right to do so. So what stipulation will we get? Will it be a ladder match? I mean, it is Money in the Bank pay-per-view, right? So have a ladder match with the title hanging up there for grabs to have a pure winner, right? Or last man standing sort of thing. One of those type of stipulations where pretty sure, cut and dry, we will finally, with a love of goodness, have a winner and finally end this feud and have it end here at Money in the Bank, which to me, as I've been touting enough times on Twitter and on air, as the third best, as I said, third best WWE pay-per-view in the season behind Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So that'd be my opinion on that. I know we still have a couple weeks till we get to Money in the Bank, but what is your excitement level from 1 to 10 for Money in the Bank, at least at this present time? Are you looking forward to the event in Chicago?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I'm more excited for Takeover than I am Money in the Bank. I ain't gonna lie. I really can't wait for Takeover, especially after the last Takeover. The last Takeover was absolutely amazing. Probably the one in New Orleans. That was probably the best Takeover in my opinion ever. I mean that Takeover was absolutely fantastic. But Money in the Bank is gonna be interesting. I'm excited for both Money in the Bank ladder matches, the men's and the women's. I am excited for the Nakamura and AJ match because I really want to see the outcome. Kind of feel like AJ is going to retain, but we'll see if they give it to Nakamura. And then they have Ronda Rousey, Nia Jax. Okay, I can't believe that was announced. That's going to be interesting. I'm very interested to see how she does in her first singles match in WWE against somebody like Nia Jax. Obviously, it's going to be a false finish. I don't see Nia pinning Ronda, and I don't see Ronda beating Nia either. It'll be some type of false finish. Maybe, Natalya turned on Ronda, or maybe, Alexa comes out and interferes, something like that. I don't know. Maybe somebody catches in. Maybe whoever wins Money in the Bank catches in that night and ruins the match. Who knows? It could be something like that, but definitely not going to have Ronda lose her first singles match, and they're definitely not going to take the title off and put it on Ronda in her second match ever. In her first singles match, but her second pay-per-view match ever. So, that one will be interesting. So, I'm sure Roman and Jinder will fight at Money in the Bank. They haven't announced it yet, but I'm sure that'll be a match that they'll have on there. Mm-hmm. And they still got. I don't know. They still got to find something, I guess, for Jeff Hardy. He got to defend the belt against somebody. I mean, just Seth Rollins will defend the belt against somebody, I'm sure. Maybe Big Cass and Daniel Bryan fight again. I'm sure, because I don't think he'll beat Samoa Joe. I think Samoa Joe is going to be in the ladder match over Big Cass. So I'm sure Daniel Bryan and Cass will fight again. I was really surprised I didn't put Jeff Hardy in the ladder match, in the Money in the Bank ladder match, just because he does crazy shit in the match. And, he would have been a perfect guy to take bumps and do high spots, but hopefully he defends the belt against somebody. I know Randy Orton hasn't been on SmackDown I don't think he's been on SmackDown since he lost that Backlash to Jeff Hardy. I don't know if he's taking time off or anything like that, but we haven't seen him since. And then I'm sure Rollins will fight. Like I said, Rollins will fight somebody. Maybe a Sami Zayn or something like one that I said. Elias is a good pick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I also think Bobby Lashley is a good fit. Either one of those three, really, I think would be a good fit for Seth Rollins to go against. He's been tearing it down since he's been the champion, man. He's making that. The Miz really made the IC title a lot relevant again, just because of how good he made it, and Rollins is really taking that over. So I'm really happy for Rollins. Like I said, I think he's found his edge back. But the Money in the Bank ladder matches, I think Rusev and Kevin Owens were the two favorites for the men's. I would love to see the Miz win, though. I think the Miz winning would be great. I know when he won the ladder match back in 2010, nobody really thought he was ready. When he first won that Money in the Bank ladder match, I for sure wasn't happy with it. I was like, why did this guy win? But now, that was 2010. That was 8 years ago. He's improved so much in those years. He's become actually. I've respected him so much. He's actually become one of the best heels they had. He has great matches. He's a great character. He's great on the mic. So giving the Miz a WWE Championship run, I think he definitely deserves it. I would definitely like to see him. I would definitely be fine with him winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. Rusev obviously would. I think Rusev will probably be the favorite for a lot of people, just because he kind of been in a slump. And I think this would be his big break for him to win the ladder match. I could see Kevin Owens winning it just to give him another Universal title run. But I don't really see anybody else winning it. But WWE, they do a lot of shocking things. So somebody else, we never know, man. Somebody surprised, like Braun Strowman could end up winning it. It would be surprising. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for the women's, I hope Becky Lynch wins this match. I want to see Becky Lynch really win. They have to give her something. She hasn't done anything or hasn't been involved in anything. And I can't tell you how long it's been. It's been so long. But Becky Lynch I definitely hope she wins this ladder match. I don't even care who the other women are in this match. It doesn't matter to me. I want her to win this match. I want her to win. She needs this win to me. I think her putting the Money in the Bank on her would be the best thing for that ladder match, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. For the women, I kind of want one of the newbies, one of the ones that were called up most recently, not even called up, but also switching brands. You have the Riot Squad, one of those members, formerly now of Absolution Riot Squad, like one of those gals. Specifically, Ruby Riot and Mandy Rose would be one of the two that I actually would like to see win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, whether they actually become champions, like the first one being Carmella. Cashing in, whether successful or not, that's another story. But just to win it, and for one of those two to do so, I think that would be kind of different and kind of out of box in some thinking, because of the two superstars that you would have in there, right? I still think that either Bayley or Sasha Banks is going to get in the match.
Bayley,
Rose, like one of those two will. I don't see them actually having a match one-on-one. The two announced. Continuing for the qualifying matches next week for SmackDown Live, we have the last one for the men. There's we discussed, but for the women, Lana facing Billie Kay. So one of those two getting in.
I think they're gonna put Billie Kay in there.
I don't think that too, but again, you never know. You could have Lana in there just for the intrigue of having Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank briefcase holder.
Yeah, well, Lana, yeah, I forgot Rusev. Yeah, you're right. Never mind, I'm changing my pick. Lana, yeah, because I forgot about Rusev.
Yeah, so that could swing that way, though I don't think either of them are going to be winning. I don't see Rusev as my favorite for the men, and of course I don't see Lana as favorite for the women, but at least WWE to try to tout that and have that in people's minds to think, hey, a happy Rusev Day for the Rusev couple there. is intriguing in its own right, and for them to, those fan bases and general fan bases for Rusev Day and Rusev in particular, fine, but I don't see Rusev going anywhere. And the same thing I've seen with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn seemed like now having this feud with Bobby Lashley, only to building up Bobby Lashley, because I think Bobby Lashley will be facing Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship. So
yeah, if he doesn't face Brock at SummerSlam, he's going to fight him at WrestleMania next year. That match is going to happen eventually, but I don't know if he'll be the one to take the belt from him. But if they don't fight at SummerSlam, they're going to fight at WrestleMania.
Yeah. So certainly going to be interesting. And like I said, I'm sure last week, I'm enjoying how they're doing these qualifying matches for the women, unlike the men, where for the men they had 2 on Raw, 2 on SmackDown, and then this week, 2 on Raw, 1 on SmackDown. Though the last final spot is for a SmackDown superstar. I think some of the WWE universe, some fans, kind of forgot that part of the tidbit, right? There's 4 Raw representatives, 4 SmackDown Live representatives for both the men and women. So the 4 for the men are already taken. Those golden tickets are already given out for the men's side for the Raw brand. So people that are trying to think of who's going to be the last individual in the 8th one, thinking that it would be a Raw star, they're sadly mistaken, because the last spot has to be taken by a SmackDown superstar. They only have 3 representatives in it right now, currently. So that's why it's on SmackDown for the final qualifying match. But how they're doing it for the women's and just having 1 qualifying match for each brand each week and slowly pacing that out to the go-home show, and then having that card fully, that puzzle finally in place, so to speak. I think I'm liking that, and I'm enjoying that more than with the men's, than knowing earlier, the sooner rather than later kind of thinking. I'm actually liking the latter with the women's, pacing out 1 per show, 1 per brand, and us getting to finally figure out and finding out who those 8 female superstars in the match to be by the time we get to or at the go home shows. And in that situation, that'd be the go home show with the SmackDown Live, finding out who's to be in those matches. But I'm ready pumped for Money in the Bank.
I mean, maybe this is something that everybody can say, even the people watching. How do y'all feel about they're going to pass up CM Punk's 434 title reign?
Here's what it is. WWE just wanting to, get CM Punk kind of out of that spot, out of that end of history. He still would be part of it because he'd be number 2, but just having Brock Lesnar and be that, I think it's just, a WWE reasoning to do that, because Brock doesn't really deserve to have that credential. He barely defends the title. He's barely on shows, period, though that is just how Brock works. But all in all, it's just a WWE thing to get CM Punk off that, because why not, right? Why not? So part of me doesn't care. Part of me cares too much. So I try to be right in the middle. Otherwise, I'll care too much or not enough. But either way, it's going to be what it's going to be. He's going to pass it. He's going to probably successfully defend even at SummerSlam, whether he's facing Bobby Lashley or whoever the heck else he's facing, and might even hold it again for another entire year to WrestleMania.
It's probably going to be Roman Reigns, more likely. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see anybody else taking the title off him except for Roman Reigns. Maybe Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman would be a second close one. But if Braun gets the belt, Braun won't go into WrestleMania as the champion. I mean, Roman Reigns will go into WrestleMania as the champion if he wins. But I don't know. Maybe Cena. When Cena's going to come back, obviously at some point, John Cena's going to be 17-time world champion at some point. He's going to break that record that Ric Flair's had for so long. So at some point, he's going to break that record. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. I don't know when, but maybe when Cena comes back, maybe he beats Lesnar and takes the belt off him, because a couple years ago at SummerSlam, he got his ass whooped by Brock when he was the champion. Literally got destroyed and took the belt from him. So I could see that. I could see that happening. I'm sure Cena will be back by SummerSlam. That's a big pay-per-view, so I'm sure he'll be back by then. But Cena, Roman, and Braun. Those are the only 3 really I could see taking the belt off Lesnar, and I don't see anybody else taking the title off him. I definitely don't see Bobby Lashley doing it. I see them having a singles match, but without a belt involved in it. Those are the only 3 I could legit see beating him. I don't see anybody else taking the title off him. I don't see Finn Balor. I don't see Seth Rollins doing it. I don't see Dean Ambrose I don't see, Elias, none of those guys. I don't see any of those guys. Bobby Roode. I don't see none of those guys taking the belt off him. But Elias, definitely not. Braun Strowman is one. John Cena is one. Roman Reigns will be one.
Yeah, I would probably just simply say Roman Reigns to be the one. I would say not only the most credible, but probably the most likely to be taking the title off Brock Lesnar. Though we all thought that was for sure 100% etched in stone was going to happen at that point, but it didn't. And he still is a champion, of course, to break the CM Punk record, which you all know now to be the case and probably going to happen. So will they hold it up to WrestleMania to have Brock drop it to Roman? Will they have Roman somehow, some way, however they would throw him in there to be in a title match at SummerSlam? Will they make it one-on-one, triple threat? All the other options and thought processes that are to the right team and myself here just as a fan thinking like where exactly could that go, right? Roman Reigns keeps saying that he's the uncrowned champion because of what happened at Greatest Royal Rumble, that event there in Saudi Arabia with his feet touching first. And just continuing that claim, if he keeps bringing it up in promos, that makes me think that probably they're just going to shoehorn him in a title match either at a SummerSlam or at a pay-per-view, maybe even before that or before WrestleMania, of course, where then they actually might have Roman Reigns take the title off Brock. Now, the saddest thing they could do, or the worst thing they could do, at least to me, is have Brock pass CM Punk's record. And the very next Raw show, or the very next pay-per-view, no matter what it is, be pay-per-view, a pay-per-view, whatever, have Brock drop the title then. Because that would blatantly show something that most of us already think, but still, you don't want to do that to the casual fans, that you only have Brock Lesnar resign. You only have Brock Lesnar retain at WrestleMania, so he could surpass CM Punk's record to be the longest reigning world champion of the modern era, right?
If he doesn't defend it at Money in the Bank, he's going to pass up the record because he's already had the belt for like 420-some days, so and he's not scheduled to defend it at Money in the Bank, so he's going to break the record anyway.
Right.
Which is stupid. It's just stupid because, like I said, they're only doing it just because of the whole thing, how it happened with CM Punk. I seen a stats thing that CM Punk defended the championship 141 times. Brock's only defended it, I think it was like 4 or something like that. It was like 4 times or something crazy like that. And the stats compared were just ridiculous, When CM Punk was on that undefeated reign, it was really good because he was there every week. He was defending it, whenever they had him defend it. And every time when he got as the streak got so bigger, the reign got so bigger, it was either every time he defended the belt, you either wanted him to win or you wanted him to lose. And that's what made it real interesting. But with Brock, I mean, it's like that with Brock. You either want him to win or you want him to lose, but it's always been like that with Brock just because he's part-time, you know what I mean? Before it even got big, I like Brock Lesnar a lot. I like Paul Heyman a lot, but I don't want to see him as the champion anymore. He doesn't need to be the Universal Champion, he doesn't need the belt to make him relevant. He's Brock Lesnar, so anybody who he fights is going to be a big promotion. You know what I mean? It's going to be a big match, big money match that you're going to want to watch. It doesn't matter who he fights. You know what I mean? It doesn't. You can put Brock Lesnar against anybody. You can put Brock Lesnar against Finn Balor. That'd be a big match. That'd be a big promoted match right there. You can put Brock Lesnar against Elias. That'd be a big promoted match just because Brock Lesnar is involved in it. Even though majority of the people that there are very very few people that Brock can face that legitimately you believe that can beat him. If Brock were to face like Finn Balor or Elias, and obviously nobody would expect either of them two to win.
Mm-hmm.
But when he fights somebody like Roman Reigns, when he fights somebody like Braun Strowman, you look at those guys and you're like, man, they actually could beat Brock. You know what I mean? Especially somebody like Roman Reigns who gets pushed really hard and is going to be pretty much the next John Cena, I guess you could say, the next face of the company. But they haven't really. They've just been really going with Brock as the champion. Hopefully he drops it at SummerSlam. I don't see him defending the belt again until SummerSlam. That's the next big pay-per-view. So hopefully he drops it at SummerSlam, and they can move on from there because I know that his contract actually expires after SummerSlam because he only signed through SummerSlam because he's going back to fight in the UFC sometime during this year, and he's not supposed to come back to WWE until next year for WrestleMania. So I'm fine with him, and that would be good. Have him drop the belt at SummerSlam, and then have Brock go away for a while. Kind of make it seem like he's not there anymore, and then all of a sudden, he just pops up one day. You know what I mean? Just pops up,
Hmm?
and then they can go from there.
I like that idea, and that's kind of what I was going to throw out there because that UFC factor of it, he's probably going to have some fights over there. So have him join the title at SummerSlam. Have it be a big show. Um, Probably won't be Bobby Lashley. If that's the case, then if that's going to happen the way that we're thinking, there probably would be Roman Reigns. You shoehorn him in the title picture, in the title match for SummerSlam, wins the championship at said event, and then Brock Lesnar going away, as you said, and then coming back, um, like an RKO out of nowhere, coming out of nowhere, coming back, and then wanting a rematch he didn't get, sort of thing, right? Like actually having him not have a rematch right after SummerSlam, him just going away right away after SummerSlam, and not going back till that point after he's done with his fights in UFC and contractual obligations there, and back for WrestleMania season, and coming back and wanting his gosh darn rematch, sort of thing, and go from there. So that's kind of where I see as well, where I see Brock Lesnar going, dropping it at SummerSlam, coming back early 2019 they're on the road to WrestleMania. If not, surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble match. I mean, why not? Great way to have people return. So whatever, that would be a way to do it. Maybe even have him win the thing. Then again, he's Brock Lesnar. He doesn't have to. It's just an idea of mine there. But either way, Brock Lesnar returning around that time, and then moving forward, heading into WrestleMania 35 there in the New York area, and Brock getting a Universal title match at WrestleMania there. You'll also probably have Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair one-on-one at WrestleMania. Well, I know there's rumors floating around that WWE is thinking heavily about having that being the main event of said WrestleMania, for women's main event at a pay-per-view or at a WrestleMania pay-per-view. So that would be awesome and interesting. Either way, WrestleMania, at least in the title match picture, is certainly going to be very, very, very interesting. But right now, we're just going to Money in the Bank, going to that great pay-per-view, and looking forward to seeing how those go about. But I want to ask you, Malik, I know we talk about Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman and stuff like that. Well, do you see the Money in the Bank briefcase winner, if it is a Raw brand superstar, do you see maybe a briefcase holder being the one taking it from Brock at a random Raw or something showing up, or at a pay-per-view event, right? Brock really is at shows. That kind of situation. Do you see the Money in the Bank briefcase holder actually being the one to take the Universal title?
Yeah, I could see that. That would be pretty cool. That'd be very shocking. Depending on who wins it, I don't know. Maybe Rusev. I mean, I don't know. I could see that. That could definitely happen, but I don't know if that will happen. I'd rather just have Brock. I really don't care who he drops the belt to at this point. I don't care if it's Roman. I don't care if it's Cena. I don't care if it's Braun. I don't care if it's Jason Jordan at this point. I don't care who he drops the belt to. I don't want the belt on him anymore.
Yeah, I understand. I agree. I kind of don't care.
That would be. I honestly think that. I think one of those two. I think one of the two Money in the Bank winners will cash in at Money in the Bank, either the women's or the men's. I would say more likely the women's, just because Carmella just cashed in not too long ago. She had the briefcase longer than anybody ever. So I mean, I could see her cashing in that day. But what I would love to see is, I would love, because they've never done this. They've always tried to find ways to have people cash in. They've already had somebody cash in at WrestleMania. They've had somebody cash in the night after WrestleMania. They've done stuff like that. What I would like to see is, I would like whoever wins either one of those Money in the Bank ladder matches, I would like to see somebody cash in right before WrestleMania, like right at the time. Like either cash in at the Royal Rumble, or I would like somebody to cash in at a Raw or SmackDown, after all the other pay-per-views, after Fastlane, after Elimination Chamber, and after Royal Rumble, to make it seem like that nobody's going to cash in, because you wouldn't think about it. Like, you make it seem like the matches are set. I would like somebody to cash in, like,
Right, okay, yeah. Right, yeah.
for example, say like Seth Rollins won the Money in the Bank. So say like Dean Ambrose won Money in the Bank, right? And Roman Reigns was the champion, and Seth Rollins won the Royal Rumble, and they were gonna fight at WrestleMania. Say like it was built up to be a 1-on-1 match forever, and then say say like the night after Fastlane or whatever, like the Raw after Fastlane, or the Raw or some Raw after that. Say like Dean Ambrose catches in and takes the belt, and then he has the belt now, so now it's a triple threat. You know what I mean? He's someone that makes it a triple threat. I think that would be very, very interesting.
I like it, and for me, I think it would be more interesting, at least in my head, if it actually happens in like the go home show, where we all think it's this go home show, like go home show to WrestleMania. It's interesting, but not a lot's going to happen, right? Nothing's really going to happen. They're just going to have video promos or in ring promos and barely any wrestling, and kind of a quote unquote yawn fest. Even though yes, it's WrestleMania we're heading to. It's just how we feel, and then you have someone cash in, whether it's Miss Money in the Bank or Mr. Money in the Bank, either one, man or woman, cashing in the go home show. At least to me, that would make it even more interesting. Though your idea is interesting too, of course, and would be awesome and entertaining. But I think for me, even more so above that would be it being at a go home show.
I have heard that. I don't know if you heard about this. I have been hearing that the Undertaker is possibly going to fight at SummerSlam, and he could fight Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
That would be cool and interesting.
I think it's just because Roman beat him at WrestleMania last year, and it would be kind of his like. I mean, from what I've heard, it would be like he's like redemption, like he would actually beat Roman, and because I think, from what I've also heard, that he's Undertaker and Cena are supposed to fight again at WrestleMania next year, but it's going to be a career versus career match next year, and it'll be built up. It'll be built up better and different than it was, this year.
Yeah, that certainly would be where I see that going, and kind of started going right after WrestleMania happened this past year, of how quick that match was in itself. The build to it actually was interesting in how they did that, kind of being differently and out of the box, and I actually enjoy it. And now, actually, if they start promoting it after SummerSlam and have that longer build and have a better build up to it, and fans already knowing that the match actually will be happening, they almost did think that WrestleMania was last year. But either way, I think it can even deliver more so. And if they have this rematch and have their second match, this upcoming WrestleMania 1-on-1 career versus career, that certainly would not be a bad thing. Another idea I had for Money in the Bank is have the Money in the Bank briefcase holder hold it for the whole entire year, and we get to the next year's Money in the Bank, and the briefcase goes back up, and they're defending. It's like they're defending a championship. So you have Mr. or Miss, man or woman, have that briefcase for a whole entire year.
They would have to win it all over again.
Yeah, the opportunity, and they're automatically qualified because they are the current / former Money in the Bank.
You know what else I would like to see? I would also like to see whoever won the Money in the Bank. I would like to see them cashing in at WrestleMania, but make it known ahead before time, so they'd be like, "I'm cashing this in at WrestleMania," because it'd be different. Cause you always have people just cashing in unexpectedly, whatever. At least because there've only ever been two people that have done that. RVD did it against Cena when he said, "I'm going to cash in at One Night Stand," and then he took it from Cena, and then Cena did it against CM Punk at 1000th episode of Raw. So, but nobody else has done. They don't do that anymore. So I think it would be pretty cool if somebody were to say, "Listen, no way." Or what if somebody said they were going to cash in at say like somebody said like I'm going to cash in at SummerSlam, but then they cash in like the next night or something like that, or like the next week of Raw. You know what I mean? They say they're gonna do one thing, but then they saw an opportunity and they took that opportunity.
Yeah, kind of like a gotcha moment. Yeah, there. But
that could be a good heel turn for somebody. Like if somebody were to say if Daniel Bryan was the champion, or you know what I mean, and say Daniel Bryan was the champion and he was gonna fight Seth Rollins at the Money in the Bank, and Seth said I'm gonna cash in again at Survivor Series. But then he stole it. Say Daniel Bryan got jumped and Rollins came out and helped him and make it seem like he was helping him, whatever. But then he turned on him and then he cashed in and sold the belt from him. You know what I mean? It would be could be a good heel turn for somebody.
True. No, yeah, that's a good idea. Another one I was thinking, they always talk about these live event shows and you don't want to miss it and any of them because you never know which superstar could be there. Like The Rock surprising fans at a live show in Brooklyn once, I think it was, beyond surprising them on a Monday Night Raw once when he confronted Rusev. My point being is have a Money in the Bank cash and happen at a live event, at a WWE live event. They could even do it. They could even do it like one of the big live shows. They did the Greatest Royal Rumble show. And they can do it even at one of those shows, like a network show.
you wouldn't expect. Nobody would expect.
There you go. There you go. Maybe they can do that the next time they're in Saudi Arabia in November. That's obviously after Money in the Bank. So maybe have a cash in there when they're overseas. There on off U.S. soil. But either way, certainly would be interesting. Too bad we don't have my teammates here, Mark Rambo, Kyron Chase, or Raunchy Mikey, to share their thoughts.
Did you send those guys the link?
Yeah, I did. I didn't hear anything from them. They're
I
radio
haven't talked.
they're
I
radio
haven't talked.
silent. I don't hear a word from them. So
Yeah, I don't hear from. I don't talk to Mike. I haven't talked to Mike in forever. I don't talk to Kyron as much. I was talking to Rambo just not to like about an hour ago. He asked me if I was going to be on here, and I told him yeah. But and that was the last time I heard from him. He hasn't said anything. So
no, I don't know. Maybe something else caught his attention. I don't know. Either way, it's understood. Beyond that, well, actually, there is some other things to bring up. One being about Enzo Amore. Enzo Amore's name being cleared and charges not being filed, having enough to make a case. What are your thoughts on Enzo Amore, and do you think WWE should bring him back to the company?
I don't see why they couldn't. I mean, I know he had a lot of heat with a lot of people there, but Enzo wasn't the best wrestler, but he was very entertaining. He was great on the microphone. You know what I'm saying? His microphone skills are fantastic. But I don't know. Without Big Cass, he really wasn't anybody anymore. I mean, when he was with Big Cass, Enzo was really one of the biggest over. He was one of the most over guys in the company. You know what I mean? But when he was kind of by himself in the cruiserweight thing, he was kind of dry. He was just real dry. I wasn't really feeling him anymore. Even though his promos are still on point, they were still 100% good. He just wasn't the same guy. It just wasn't the same feel. When he was with Cass and they were a tag team. That's why I'm really upset that they split them up before they got to win the tag team titles together. They should have been tag team champions at least once. They weren't even tagged. They didn't even get to win the tag team titles in NXT. So I was really hoping they got to win the tag titles at least one time. But obviously Cass is a big guy, and he's gonna get a bigger push than Enzo will, and they see big things with him. So Cass probably gonna be a future world champion. But I'm really I don't see why they couldn't bring Enzo back. I'm fine with Enzo coming back. I know they cleared his name of all the allegations that he had. But I know he posted something on Instagram where he said he was thinking about retiring from wrestling. Period. So, I mean, obviously he's probably going through some depression. He lost his dream job. You know what I mean? And obviously, being having a sexual assault case that puts a bad rep in your name, that doesn't look good. That's not a good look for you. You know what I'm saying? People are going to judge him. People are judging him now as especially people who don't know him as well. But I don't see why they couldn't bring him back. I wouldn't mind if Enzo came back. I don't really see him doing anything, but I don't mind if he comes back.
I don't mind either, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think WWE needs him, and I certainly don't think the Cruiserweight division needs him. I think the Cruiserweight division has actually done better and has improved, at least for me, with 205 Live. And as I've been saying, focus on your 205 Live show, build your brand there for the Cruiserweight division, and it will flourish. You focus on that, you do better there, and they have the shows have been better.
Are you gonna watch the Chris Jericho and Naito match in New Japan?
Yeah, I'm certainly going to try my best.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I know the thing's only $10. You go on their website, but you would have to watch it on the computer though. Like it's not like the network. You would have to watch it on the computer.
Right.
But
yeah, I don't know if I would be able to find a way, the regular way, like while it was actually live, or if I would have to wait until it's like, I don't know, YouTube or secondary site. Like I didn't know exactly my options as a non.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it live. I'm gonna watch it live because it's on a Saturday and I don't have to work. But
yeah.
I'm gonna watch it live because I actually watched Wrestle Kingdom 12 live, and it was amazing. The whole pay-per-view was amazing. So this one's gonna be great too because they have Kenny Omega and Okada again. That's gonna be a great match. And then Cody Rhodes is gonna be there. Rey Mysterio is gonna be wrestling. I don't know who he's gonna wrestle, but he's gonna be there. And then Chris Jericho and Naito is gonna be a great match. I know a lot of people want to see him come back to WWE. I know that, but I'm actually happy that he's doing stuff in New Japan because I'm a wrestling fan in general. I just don't watch WWE. I watch Ring of Honor. I watch New Japan.
Companies.
I used to watch TNA before, but now I don't watch it anymore. But No, I watch those things, and New Japan is really good. They got really good talent down there. They have really good stuff down there, and basically Jericho basically has full creative storyline down there. As you, I mean, I'm pretty sure you saw him when he jumped Naito and he split his head open when he cracked him with that ring bell. In WWE, he wouldn't be able to do that, but I'm happy that he's doing stuff with both. I would like to see him do both. You know, go to New Japan and then come back to WWE, do stuff with WWE, and then go back to New Japan. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see him do both because there are a lot of guys down there I would like to see him work with. You know, he worked with Kenny Omega. Him and Okada would be a great match. Him and Kota Ibushi would be a great match. Him and Will Ospreay would be a fantastic match. You know, there are a lot of guys down there that he could have great matches with in New Japan. So I'm happy. I'm happy that he went back. I figured that he would go back, especially after Wrestle Kingdom. You know, when he attacked Naito after Wrestle Kingdom 12, and then he kind of disappeared. I kind of figured that was going to be a match. Just never knew when he was going to go back, but I'm happy that Jericho is back there. Like I said, I know a lot of people want to see him in WWE and WWE only, especially the hardcore WWE fans.
Right.
And there's no problem with that, but I like wrestling in general. I just don't watch WWE. I watch all wrestling, and New Japan is a great company. And if you haven't checked it out, you definitely should check out the show. I know Japan is the time is different from ours, so you know, I think when I had to stay up and watch Wrestle Kingdom, I think came on like 2 a.m. or something like that, like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. something like that. It was pretty late, but the show was fantastic.
Right. It was worth staying up for. Understood.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And that's kind of what I wanted to do, because honestly, you know, if I'm being honest with everybody, being real, you know,
it's not like it's on a Saturday. You know what I mean? It's on a Saturday night. So I mean, well, it'll be Sunday morning, but
right for us. Yeah, but for me myself, I usually try to stick with WWE. You know, have enough content for a week to watch. But I am, you know, as I do these podcasts, I, you know, now interact and collab and with other YouTubers that talk about other shows and companies. I did talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, about even Impact, and you know, formerly TNA, as it was called, their ROH, as well, all those, and even some other ones that I've heard of that I, you know, might dip my toe into and watch a little bit more of, because I hear good things about it, and of course, you know, the word of mouth does help for sure. So, as regards to New Japan Pro Wrestling, coming show, I will definitely give that a watch when that does air. Just have to look up in that when that is to be on that Saturday or Sunday morning or whatever that would actually airing live on the internet for me to enjoy for the first actual time. Because if I do watch it, that will be the first show that I do watch.
yeah,
Not
you gotta
WWE.
watch. You need to watch. You should watch that show, and then you should watch the Wrestle Kingdom 12 show. I'm not saying all one day, but you should watch the Wrestle Kingdom. Right now, Wrestle Kingdom, but watch the New Japan show that they're having coming up live, and then keep the account, and then watch the New Japan. When you watch the Wrestle Kingdom 12 show, the Wrestle Kingdom 12 show was amazing.
Okay. How long is the Wrestle Kingdom show?
It's like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay. Yeah, it's just WrestleMania. I didn't know if it was short.
It's basically Wrestle Kingdom's like WrestleMania. It's like their big event. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's not as long as WrestleMania. But literally every match on the show is a fantastic match. It's a great match. Every show on the card was a great match. I'm not kidding.
Okay. Yeah, every match there deserves a 5-star, huh? So, but I definitely will check it out. I do that. Certainly will. You know, like I said, give other companies a shot and watch their stuff, because I'm sure it's all good with great athletes over there, just as much as we have in WWE on the main roster in WWE NXT. However, with the number one company that is WWE in professional wrestling, sports entertainment, however you want to clarify it. But either way, that's pretty much it for the news. We talked about SmackDown and Monday Night Raw on our excitement level, and kind of what we're thinking into Money in the Bank that will be in June in Chicago, here in my area, here in the Midwest, about 4.5 hours. I would say 4.5 hour drive from my home where I live here in Wisconsin. So I would be able to go, but I want to keep saving my money up to go to WrestleMania, be with the boys and everybody that hopefully are also able to attend. Mark Rambo, Malik, Karen Chase, Raunchy Mikey, even some over at my other podcast that I'm part of, Talking WWE with Jay. So Jay, Stephen A., and others that may be attending for WrestleMania there in the New York area next year. So that's certainly what I'm the main thing I'm focused on. So as much as I might have been able to attend Money in the Bank, um, save as much as I can for the rest of Mania. But I certainly will be enjoying it as I do each and every pay per view at home on the WWE Network, and I will be doing 2 live reactions for Money in the Bank, one for the men's, one for the women's. They're alike. Is there any wrestling news or any other random stuff that you may want to bring up here while we're still talking? Because I just don't know if Mike and Karen are able to join, but I guess I just wanted to throw it out to you to see if you have any other topics to see if we hear back also from Mark Rambo or Kyron Chase.
Um. Uh, I don't think. I'm trying to think. I don't think. I think we pretty much covered everything as far as I'm concerned. I don't think anything else is really going on right now. I think we pretty much covered everything. To be honest, how do you feel about? What is your opinion on the Ronda Rousey Nia Jax match? How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, I'm. I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel both ways, like middle of the road thinking. Because at one point, and on one side of it, I like that we have these high-profile matches for the Raw and SmackDown Live Women's Championships. You have Carmella defending her championship against Asuka. You have Nia Jax defending against Ronda Rousey. So that's good, and that's good for Money in the Bank pay-per-view event. And as I keep talking, Money in the Bank being the third best pay-per-view WWE has. So for Money in the Bank, that is good to have those 2 mega matches for the women's division for the Raw and SmackDown Live Women's Championships. But on the flip side, you have these newly crowned champions in Nia Jax and Carmella already defending against the top 2, or I would say, top 2 stars on each brand, at least to be deserving to getting a championship opportunity. You have Asuka and Ronda Rousey. So why already have that now? Is WWE really going to have them both drop the title to those great athletes now? I don't think so, and I certainly hope not. And even I said on Twitter, at WWE_podcast, for all those that want to follow me, that I really hope and I have this feeling that WWE will have both Nia and Carmella retained. By hook or by crook, they're going to retain the championships and have that be a big notch on their own resume as champion, be a stronger, credible champion, which would help more so for Carmella than with Nia. I mean, of course, she's able to be this big bad champion on her own right. But for Carmella, with all those haters out there not thinking that she didn't even deserve to be Miss Money in the Bank, to be the SmackDown Live Women's Champion, but to beat Charlotte Flair, and then now to beat Asuka clean without the help of the Iconics. Like, I thought the Iconics were going to help her retain against Charlotte in that rematch. But no, she actually beat Charlotte clean at Backlash. So if we have Carmella beat Asuka clean at Backlash on her own, whether heel tech or otherwise, then that'd be a notch for her. And also in the case for Nia Jackson, that would help as well. So I actually am hoping and probably will be predicting when we get to the prediction episode for Steve's Wrestling Ramble there, talking about Money in the Bank. I probably will be predicting both of them to retain their championships because I think they need it. I think their title reigns deserve it and want it and warrant it. I just think that's how WWE's thinking as well. Like, we're going to have this mega match for the Money in the Bank event and for the women's division and for the women's championships, but we're not quite going to be giving these titles to Ronda Rousey or Asuka. Ronda Rousey, because this being her first one-on-one contest, as you pointed out earlier yourself, why already have her win the championship here at Money in the Bank? It'd be a little bit too early, at least in my opinion. And then for Asuka, who had a championship opportunity, lost her streak at WrestleMania facing Charlotte. So I think for me, I'm good with it having the matches. I just don't see either one of them winning the title. I see Nia and Carmella retaining.
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Asuka, but I'm not for sure. I kind of think maybe Asuka wins the belt and then her and Charlotte have a rematch at SummerSlam. But this time, Asuka's the champion and Charlotte's the challenger, and then have Asuka beat Charlotte. But I don't know. I mean, I could see Carmella. I don't know how long her title reign will last, to be honest. I mean, I don't think her title reign will be as long as maybe some people want it to be. But we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. I'm definitely interested to see. I just want to see how well Ronda does in her first singles match again, especially against somebody like Nia Jax. Somebody who is as dominant and as powerful as Nia Jax is. I want to see how, like I said, obviously Ronda won't beat Nia, and Nia won't beat Ronda. It'll be a false finish. Maybe somebody cashes in and takes the belt from Nia, or somebody interferes. Like maybe Natalya turns on Ronda, or maybe Alexa Bliss comes out and interferes and double DQ, something like that will happen. It's too early for Ronda to get the belt. Only her second match.
Yeah,
second pay-per-view match.
Yeah, I agree there for sure. But then again, I mean, anyways, that should do it. Hopefully, none of the team members were able to be here, or at least other co-hosts, be able to be here. But I think Malik, for some might be able to talk WWE here for at least an hour filled of WWE content here in Steve's Wrestling Ramble. He's trying to get at least an hour. So thank you all that were commenting in the comment section below, especially Why Society Wrestling. Again, Why Society Wrestling. Thank you for being there in the comment section. Thanks for all those that did watch live, even if you didn't want to be in the chat. I understand that. I'm a shy individual myself. So if you didn't want to, that's understood. But thank you for being here for however long you were here. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. But before I sign out, I also would like Malik to share where people can find him, YouTube, and social media like.
All right, so I'm back on Twitter now. You can follow me on Twitter at Malik Kelly94. I just got back on Twitter. Haven't been on Twitter in about almost a year, but now I'm back on there, so I'll be doing more stuff on Twitter. My Instagram is Malik Kelly94 as well. Facebook, Malik Kelly. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Narcolepsy Boy 94. I do trivia reaction. I just uploaded a trivia video today. It was a WWE trivia, as a matter of fact. Just uploaded another trivia today. Make sure you go check that out. I also do all types of trivia. I do Disney trivia, I do movie trivias, I do music trivias, I do TV show trivias, anything you can think of, I do that. And I also do reaction videos to Monday Night Raw every Monday and SmackDown every Tuesday. And I also do reactions to pay-per-views. I don't do live stream. I don't go live for the whole show, but I'll do reaction to the big matches, to the important stuff. So I have reactions for Money in the Bank for sure. And I also have reactions Monday and Tuesday for Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, I know. I enjoy those Disney trivia ones just as much as the WWE ones. I know you had that one for women's teams and WWE that was pretty cool as well. So everybody check him out on his YouTube channel, Narcolepsy.94. And
you already watched that one?
Yeah, I already watched. I watched that one because I ring your bell, so I'm part of your notification squad. So I get it. Yeah, so I get it right away. So when I see that, I say, "Hey, he uploaded," and then I check it out right away. So that's what I do for those that obviously that I.
How many did you get right?
Huh?
How many did you get right?
Not as many as I thought I would. Let's put it that way. I thought I would do much better, especially for one that he thinks he's so of knowing things. But no, I got a couple right, most of them actually wrong. So that was unfortunate, but I did enjoy it. Like I said, I do enjoy those, and then the Disney stuff, and otherwise. But anyways, for me, people are welcome to follow me on Twitter at WWE_podcast. I am on Instagram, not as often, but I am there at StevieK_06. So welcome to follow me there. Following these podcasts on Facebook, they do have fan pages. Just search Steve's Wrestling Ramble and Talking Package with Steve, my NFL podcast that will be returning in August. So Talking Packers with Steve will be on Wednesday nights, probably 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, talking NFL, starting, I would say, second or third week of August, heading into the 2018-2019 NFL season. So it's something to look forward to there. But like I was talking about on his channel, well, here on this channel, I will be doing my 2 live reactions at Money in the Bank for the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches, respectively. So thank you all that watch live. Those will be watching archived. Hopefully next week we have some of the more of the active team members here along with me and Malik. But I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. And above all else, as always, take care.